Welcome back. Joined now by the president of the Long Beach Board of Harbor Commissioners, Nick Schrammick. Nick, welcome back to Straight Talk.
Yeah, thank you. Our pleasure being back here.
We're talking about the big 100th anniversary celebration coming up, and in the current issue of the Straight Talk magazine, we have a nice article about this exciting June 25th event. It's going to be a big party. People are invited, and what's going to be happening?
Well, the celebration is really going to be a big thing this year because, 100 years, how many places, really do so well in 100 years? And we've talked about that before, but we're going to be really celebrating the people, honoring the people really who have been part of the port and really who have made the port as great as it is. A lot of the dock workers, we're trying to get all the previous, current dock workers down there. We're inviting the public, everybody who we can really. The
port has touched a lot of lives, forgetting about the economic impacts elsewhere, but just people who have worked at the port or have had something to do with it.
Think about all that probably tens of thousands of people who have worked down there and the memories they have. And that's what we're looking for, is to share some of those memories. We're doing a number of different things to share the memories. We're actually going to have a number of boards there for people to share their memories. We're asking them to bring stories, old photos, even newspaper clippings if they have it.
And you've been asking them via the website to share their recollections, and people are responding to that. And of course, your MC, Robert Wagner, the famous actor who narrated your special commemorative film.
It's exciting. We'll have Robert Wagner. We have a commemorative film. We'll be actually premiering it twice during the ceremony, during the birthday party that we're having. Actually, it's about 30 minutes long, and it really walks through a lot of the history. Plus, it has a number of the people who have been part of the port in the past. So it's going to be just exciting.
And of course, one of the treasures of Long Beach, the Long Beach Municipal Band, will be playing at your event. And ironically, they've been around 100 years plus too, and they were there at the beginning of the port.
Yeah. When the first ship came in and they dedicated the docks, the Long Beach Municipal Band was there. And we had two things. We had politicians talking, and
Some things never change.
Never change. And we had the municipal band. Well, 100 years later, we have municipal band, and I'm sure we'll have politicians talking. So
that can be no doubt about that. And there's a carnival atmosphere. You have a Ferris wheel and other kind of rides, and it's all free, right, Nick?
It's all free. We're just having
free parking.
Free parking. Very easy to get to. One of the things I did want to talk about was we're going to have containers stacked, and we're going to have a number of pictures in there, probably hundreds of pictures in there, for people to really look at the history of the port. And as part of that, a lot of those pictures are actually in a book that we just are publishing right now. And I wanted to present you with a copy of the book.
Oh, thank you.
It's really a pictorial history. It talks a lot about the history in there, but it's a pictorial and an explanation of a history of the port. It's just a fantastic,
richly photographed
book. One thing we're doing we really are excited about the book. We're donating many of those to the libraries throughout the city of Long Beach so people can enjoy it.
This is hot off the press. I can smell the fresh printing.
It has not been distributed yet. That's one
Look
of the
at this
first
beautiful
ones
cover.
Out there.
So if you've had an affiliation with the port, you can acquire a copy of the book at the birthday party. Well, thank you.
Yeah, and it's easy. People want to come down. It starts at 2:30 on June 25th, and you come down to Ocean and Pico. Just go over Ocean to Pico, and there will be signs leading people.
And there's a map you can get. Go to the website we'll put up at the end of this segment, and you can download a map and get full information. Quickly turning to the economic news, I know last year was a great year, and this year you still have growth, but not quite as strong as last year.
Well, yeah, last year was a tremendous year. We had about 25% growth, which is just unheard of in the industry.
In the middle of a recession.
Right at the end of the recession. We really were strong at the end of the recession. This year, we've had modest growth, but actually very good growth. We've been around 10% month to month. So it's very promising for everything we've done, and it really looks good for the future. All of our projects and everything, and our finances are really strong.
And
right
in a
now.
time when private and public entities are shedding jobs galore, it's nice to see an entity that is growing and solid and positive. And the one thing you can say for sure about the port, they are never going to outsource jobs. You got to have people here to unload.
Exactly. We have to have all the people here. They're good jobs. We love the people here, and that's part of the celebration, is celebrating those people.
And I know and we'll talk about in the next segment, Greenport and with Dr. Canna, but the board, which you represent, is committed fully to this Greenport.
Absolutely. One of our 100% commitments is continuing with all of our Greenport policies. We have the Greenport policy and the CAP, which is something it's just part of
your
part
DNA.
Of DNA now. What we do.
Stay with us. We'll be back, joined by Dr. Canner after these messages. Welcome back. Joined now by the Managing Director of Environmental Affairs and Planning, Dr. Robert Canna. Bob, welcome back to our show.
It's good to be back, Art. Thank you.
You are in charge of seeing that the port implements this Greenport policy, and I know we've talked about it before, but the port is committed to this.
Oh, absolutely. As Nick said earlier, this is in our blood. We are not backing off, even during when times were tough last year and the year before. We didn't back off one bit. Matter of fact, we progressed in all the areas of pollution reduction.
And our port, the Port of Long Beach, is cutting edge in this. I mean, this is a movement that's spreading through ports throughout the world, really, but we're cutting edge, are we not?
We're really proud of that. I think we are the trendsetter. I've gone around the world and spoke, and people are just scratching their head. How do you guys do that? Because we're always, taking on new challenges, coming up with solutions, testing technology, and really applying it to all areas, air pollution, water pollution, and so on. And we're proud of that.
And Nick, I know Dr. Canna has an international reputation in this field.
Oh, absolutely. But just tell you, follow up on what Bob just said, was every place you go now, people, the ports are realizing that they have to become green and start cleaning up pollution, clean up what they do. And every place you go, they're asking you, how did you do that? How'd you get it done? And we literally have set the stage for everybody else.
And of course, the port's involved in a major capital expansion, a $4 billion campaign. Tell us about that.
Well, $4 billion over the next 10 years of very important infrastructure. As Al mentioned earlier, some of those big projects are to keep us modern, keep us competitive, and keep the jobs and the economy going, driven by the port.
And one of the important components of that $4 billion capital effort is the replacement of the now 45-year-old or 47-year-old Gerald Desmond Bridge that we all drive over from time to time. And in place of that old bridge will be this. What is this?
This is the conceptual drawing for the new bridge. It's going to be about $1 billion to build, and with our partner Caltrans, we'll be beginning to design and construct that the first of next year. It's a very important link. The new bridge will be safe, it'll be efficient, and it'll be a wonder to see.
And we'll have a bike lane.
And we're committed to doing a bike lane on that, Art.
Great.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the capital campaign. You're redoing Middle Harbor.
Middle Harbor, again, close to $1 billion of infrastructure. And all of these are modernization that are going to move goods more efficiently, cleanly, and that'll keep us very much consistent with our Greenport policies.
And portside rail is part of the movement towards efficiency.
This Middle Harbor will have the largest on-dock rail system of any terminal actually in the world.
And when you have trains coming right up to the docks, that means no trucks, which reduces traffic on our freeways.
Less traffic, less pollution, air pollution from the trucks. Yeah. So it's really, again, part of our Greenport policy and consistent with that.
Wow. And Pier S is also part of the program. What's going there?
Pier S is one of our last major pieces of land that have not been developed. We are doing an environmental document that will be out very soon on that. And that too will be, again, the greenest terminal, even in the Port of Long Beach. It'll be the greenest in the world when we're finished with that,
wow,
with all the improvements to make it efficient.
Oh, and one of the exciting things about it is we're about, you know, cleaning up the pollution and increasing infrastructure, doing infrastructure, but it's the jobs. This Pier S could have as many as 40,000
wow,
new jobs when it is complete. So that's what's really exciting.
and that will
about it.
expand the potential of the port for business
absolutely.
and size.
Right, yep.
Well, I know that cold ironing, Dr. Canner, is an important development. Cold ironing, just for the record, is allowing ships to use electricity to unload once they pull into a berth rather than burning low-cost, dirty, sulfur-type fuel. Yeah. And that's creates a dramatic air improvement, but it's costly. What are we doing about cold ironing?
Well, it is costly. We have to bring the electricity down to the water's edge, and the vessels have to be changed as well to plug into that electricity. The port alone is investing over $200 million to bring that electricity to the water's edge. Every vessel, it's going to cost from 2 to 3, and sometimes more, to fit them so they can plug into one another. But once that's done, zero pollution from burning of hydrocarbons.
Wow.
That's great.
And there's state regulations requiring that half of the ships conform by 2014.
Right. Now, what's nice about the Port of Long Beach, we've had this in place already for a couple of years, and it will be in place ahead of regulations. But once the regulations come into place, we'll be ready for all the terminals to have that.
And just bottom line, we have just a minute left in the segment, Bob, but the port is committed to a substantial reduction in air pollution. Just tell us the goals for 2020.
We want to get down 80% reduction in health risk associated with air pollution.
That's an 80% reduction from the base year of 2006.
That's correct.
So even with the growth in traffic, you want to have air pollution down
80%.
80%.
Yeah. And we will get there.
Yeah, and the other thing that we're doing, just real quickly, is we have a program called Technology Advancement Programs, and it's seed money to any new idea to reduce pollution. And we're working with the Port of LA to look at any new technology,
best practices,
to even do better than 80%, hopefully.
Well, we want to go to near zero or zero emissions from
Well,
pollution.
that's very impressive that even as traffic is increasing, as we heard, pollution is going down.
Yeah,
that's a great accomplishment. Well, we'll be back with the remaining portions of Straight Talk after these messages.
Take care of those who are closest to you, from our family to yours. McCarty's Jewelry, since 1932.
So bottom line, everybody is invited to the big party on Saturday, June 25th. Bring the family. There'll be food, entertainment. You heard some of the exciting activities. And just on a personal note, I think we're very fortunate to have a world-class port right in our community that is growing jobs at a time when jobs are becoming increasingly scarce, and is a trend-setting commitment to a green port and environmental reduction of pollution. So I want to thank Nick Schrammick, the president of the board, for again joining us.
Thank you, Art.
And for all of your work on behalf of the port. And again, Dr. Canner, thank you for minding the store and seeing that the port implements these very dramatic policies.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us. Visit the port on June 25th. Join us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by Southern California Edison, the Press Telegram, and remember, Straight Talk is viewable worldwide 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.